Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In Nier Reincarnation, Subjugations got some updates with Season 5, and I'm actually kind of excited for this new season. I haven't really thought seriously about Subjugations since like summer last year, and it's been a bazillion videos since my last Subjugations Weapons video, so let's do an update here. They've released a ton of weapons good for the game mode since then, and part of why I'm doing this video is just for myself. In order to catch up on what's good and what's new, and then to confirm like what I have in my account. There's the new difficulty level, Stage 5. Looks very tough, but still, this video could be helpful for people that have not gotten SSS1 yet. And then, yeah, it's pretty doable to do it with auto battle as well. I have videos for those. I'll link to that playlist below. I will show examples by element of good weapons, but first I'll lay out what we're looking for. Sorry, this graph is very boring looking, but the first row are primary weapons for the main attackers. In waves 2 and 3, we usually want just one main attacker, and we want to use dark memory weapons, but blackhorn weapons will work too. The dark memory weapons in particular are good because they have high attack value, lots of hits on their weapon skills, good multipliers on their weapon skills, and often nice buffs on those weapon skills. It's kind of crazy how they were available at launch, but are still top tier. And then blackhorn weapons, they have a lot of those, but lower multipliers on their weapon skills, sometimes fewer hits on the skills. And I often end up using them as primary weapons on support characters for the element damage buffs. And then there have been some standard pool weapons with high attack values, but they will often have fewer hits on weapon skills, or good multipliers but only on like one of the two skills. And then I think generally we want proficient weapons on the main attackers, so they can get many hits on regular attacks, which is pretty important during knockdown. But with like water or light, the weapon selection is not as robust as the other elements, so I often end up using non-proficient weapons in those elements. Okay, next row is the good secondary weapons on main attackers. This is pretty straightforward. We want anything with 1 or 2 damage up passives, and it doesn't matter, proficient or non-proficient. But like element boon, or vanilla attack up, or critical up, or depending on your strategy, bold vigor or caged vigor. And recently they've introduced standard pool weapons with the element haste. They usually come with the element boon, so those are good choices too. And then there's fluidity between the primary and then the secondary weapons for main attackers. You could certainly use standard pool weapons as primary. Again, water and light in particular are good elements to consider that. And then the third row, we have primary weapons for support characters. Support characters are there to raise the damage of the main attacker, again generally in waves 2 and 3, so we want weapons that raise damage output. If those buffs can last, 45 seconds or even 60 seconds, that's even better. Also, we want those support characters to use as little time as possible to give the main attackers more time, more actions, so non-proficient primary weapons are preferred. And a lot of times the good support weapons are staves, and the good support character skills are staff users, so it can be tricky to kind of shuffle around weapons or even characters to make sure everybody is non-proficient. But here we want vanilla attack up, or element damage up, or element imperil, or on the boss, defense break, or damage up on skills of a certain number of hits or more. And there's no category for support character secondary weapons. I think just HP up is fine. If you have some leftover haste weapons, those could be usable too. And then the last category are weapons good as primary weapons for wave 1, which is our best chance to go for the combo bonus. We really want to aim for the 42 hits or more to get the 160% score multiplier. So weapons with 5 hits plus 4 hits on weapon skills are great, but 5 hits plus 3 hits are usable. We should be counting up our character skills and everything to make sure that we're hitting 42. There are a ton of these weapons with lots of hits, but I'll just include the ones that also have some kind of damage up buff for the party. You can certainly use that first wave purely for the combo bonus, but if you can get some decent damage in there at the same time to add to your total score, that would be ideal. I don't think we need to worry as much about proficient versus non-proficient as much as in waves 2 or 3. And then I will include some weapons with many hits on weapon skills, but since they have nice buffs, you can certainly use them in any wave, and ideally we would have 2 or 3 copies to use in different waves. Alright, let's look at versus light first, using dark element weapons. We can see the Dark Memory, the gun, the Greatsword, the fist, the Blackhorn weapon, and then I threw Abyssal Gale's short sword in there, because that also has nice attack value, nice multipliers on the weapon skills. For the secondary weapons, a lot of these have the Caged Vigor, so if you need that for your build, these would be great. And then again, we can ignore whether they're proficient or non-proficient. And then some of these have like vanilla attack up in addition to that Caged Vigor, so actually these weapons would be really good in any element. And then some of these have the dark boon, like the scraps, the outlaw scraps in the middle there. Okay, and then we have a lot of nice support weapons in dark. For main hand, we have Christmas Sadyu's staff. That's maybe the best of all of these. It combines 2 types of damage up weapon skills. And then there's the Aloof Bone, which I love the name of, and then Summer F66X's staff. And then at the bottom I have Wave 1 combo staves, but they have a lot of hits, 5 hits plus 4 hits, but you can use them in any wave again because they have nice buffs. Alright, then we have versus dark using light element weapons. Here we're a little strapped for good weapons because some of the Dark Memory weapons are like healing staves, which are not great for attacking. But we got Theo's Fist, we got the Blackhorn staff, and then I put in there Fractured Griff's gun, and then Abyssal Theo's Fist. They're pretty good, either as sub or main, secondary or primary weapons. I've certainly used Fractured Griff's gun on Yuri for Wave 3, and it's worked great. For sub-weapons, we have kind of some similar things here, like that Greatsword with the tape around it, that has like an attack up and then a Bold Vigor, but no element, so we can use that as a sub-weapon in any element. But Anniversary Sadyu's staff, that's Crow's sword from the Persona collaboration, and then a random fist. Support main, we have Christmas Akeha's Greatsword, New Year Leon's staff, and then next this is just a random short sword from the Hatcher. This is not Anniversary Gale's short sword, it's kind of similar looking. And then we have the Dark Memory staff. It has an attack up and then a light damage up for the party, so it's actually usable on a support character, not good for an attacker. And then depending on like how your run is going, that healing might actually come in handy. And then we have Anniversary Noel's spear. And then Wave 1 combo, we have the new Sarafa's spear. You could certainly use that as a main or sub weapon on the main attacker. But it also has a lot of hits on it. And then Abstract Leon's staff. I was surprised to see that it has 5 hits plus 4 hits. Oh, and this chart, this list here is not definitive. There are lots of other stuff out there to use, but if you just follow like what I laid out in that first slide, then you'll be able to find stuff to use. Okay, next we got versus wind using a fire element. Better selection of weapons here, but Dark Memory Lars' sword. We got Dark Memory Sarafa's spear, and then the Blackhorn Greatsword. There is Dark Memory Akeha's fire Greatsword, but there's that AoE attack which only has a single hit. That's tricky to use, not really good in auto, and then it also takes up a lot of time, that animation time. So if you were to use it, maybe try to use it like not during knockdown, but yeah, that would have you down a weapon skill. And then a fist. I think this is the new Anniversary Lavania fist. Okay, and then secondary weapons, we have stuff that gives you, again, fire damage up, or attack up, or the haste. And then support weapons for primary hand, we have Bloodless, F66X's staff. That's maybe the best support weapon for fire. What is that? I think that's Bloodless Akiha's Greatsword. Very nice there. Recent Fist. We got Summer Gale's Short Sword. And then, what is it? The Shadowbound Argo Spear there on the end. And then under Wave 1 combo, we have the Spear from Sino Alice Noel. Has 5 hits plus 4 hits. Okay, then we have Versus Water using wind element weapons. Nice selection here too. And there's actually some nice 3-star options. But for the main hand, we have the Dark Memory weapons and then the Blackhorn gun. For main attacker, secondary weapons, again, here we have stuff like Wind Boon, we have Haste, and then extra damage on skills of certain hits or more, including that 3-star sword on the end there. That recently came out. And then lots of nice primary hand weapons for support characters. But that gun is terrific. If you can get multiple copies of that, that is great. If you don't, there is that handout spear, that second one there. That will also give you more damage on skills of certain hits or more. And then we have a nice staff. We got, what is that, Lacrima Lavania's Fist. And then under Wave 1 combo, there's that recent staff there. 4 hits plus 5 hits, and then a nice party buff. And then I put Dark Memory Griff's gun in there. It's not great as a primary weapon for your main attacker in waves 2 and 3, because it's not going to do a lot of damage during knockdown. But outside of knockdown, to finish a combo in wave 1, then it will do really good damage. You can even get damage cap 15 million using that, and it also has 5 hits plus 5 hits, so it's good for wave 1. Alright, finally, we have Versus Fire using water element weapons. Here too, selection is a little bit iffy. But Dark Memory, we have Noel's Spear, that's always been good. We have Dark Memory Sadiu's Staff, also really good, and then it has like Bold Vigor in it, so if you can make it work in a wave without AoE attacks, that would be best. And that's going to be a non-proficient weapon for most attackers. And then Dark Memory Yuri's Gun, that's a big help when that came, and then the Blackhorn Spear. And then secondary weapons for main attackers. Again, we have a variety of like Bold Vigor or Element Boon. There is Demus's Gun there. You could certainly use that as a primary weapon. And then for primary weapons for support characters, we have the original Tsue Tsue, the really strong staff with 2 nice damage up buffs for the party. There's that Silver Snow Gun, and then the staff from, what was it, Anniversary Leon. It has a nice defense break on it. And then finally we have the spear from, what was it, Fractured Argo. Lots of hits, but also nice like defense break on it, so if you had multiples, you could use this in multiple ways. Okay, so that was a look at top weapons for Subjugations. Again, not a comprehensive list. Have a look at your account and then see if you have anything that matches the criteria of that first slide. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.